Hello, I'm Dylan,
I'm Keon.
and this is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where we watched Doctor Who for 2 years, podcasted about it for 2 years, and still haven't given up. That's right, this is our 2-year anniversary special. We did one of these last year, and it was a great success.
And by great success, you mean great failure? No, I don't know. It was a moderate success.
It was a moderate success.
I think the success last time is that we hadn't given up after a year. The success this time is that we haven't killed ourselves after 2 years.
That's a bit extreme. I'm not at that point yet. I'm nowhere near that point yet. No, I think the success this year will come from the fact that we actually planned what we wanted to do in this 2-year special episode, unlike last year where we kind of winged it.
Right, this year we have a plan. First, we're going to talk very briefly, looking back at the show, very briefly, because we specifically didn't want to do that too much.
Yeah, we don't want to get too self-indulgent type thing, because we believe there's always room for improvement, because we're definitely not.
Well, speak for yourself.
Oh no, I'm actually just speaking for you. This is awkward.
You're lying. I don't think there's room for improvement. We're already at the top of our game.
Wow, you certainly have a lot of faith in this show. That's interesting.
Anyway, the second and probably longer part of this episode is going to be us making predictions both about the future of Trust Your Doctor and about the 5th and 6th Doctor eras that we haven't watched yet. So if you've watched those, you know what happens, and you can see whether our predictions are right or not. They're probably not, but...
Yeah, I guess in hindsight, they're not actually predictions for Trust Your Doctor, because if we're making predictions for Trust Your Doctor, we're going to make a conscious effort to do those things. So not really predictions, they're more like givens for what we're going to do for the next year of Trust Your Doctor.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll go into the year in review, the 2 years in review.
Yeah. Well...
I think it's safe to say the show doesn't suck.
Yeah, I think we stopped... I didn't want to say sucking, but you already said suck, so I think we stopped sucking in our second year.
Well, people out there may disagree, but I think with the benefit of hindsight, I can say a large portion of our first year was lackluster.
Well, we fell into a formula. We have a formula now, whereas we were developing that formula over the first year, I guess you could say. So.
And that's why it probably varies wildly in quality. There are some good episodes in there, a few.
There's some diamonds in the rough.
And there's some just terrible ones.
Rough in the rough.
That's just the rough. You don't need to specify it's the rough. Yeah, but I think at this past year we've had a great success with our formula. We put out some, I think, decent episodes. I think we've done some good things. We did some exciting crossovers with other podcasts, which I think is something we wanted to do for the first year, but I don't think we believed we'd fallen into a formula enough yet to do.
Right. Obviously, we collaborated with Light Through Entirety, Chronoid Podcast, both of which you should check out.
Yeah, we'll just dump links in the show notes. We'll just put everything in the show notes. Hallelujah, 2 years running. Speaking actually of crossovers, we've been in touch with Flight Through Entirety since July. This is a 6-month in the making type thing. We're doing yet another crossover. I guess it will be 6 months when it comes out. Not entirely certain when it's going to come out. It's going to probably be February 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th, which is a Wednesday. I guess Wednesdays are standard everything that's not a regular episode release day.
Except this.
This is the one that defies all the rules. So look for that around February 11th. We're doing the English Way of Death.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to say, but I guess we are.
We should let viewers know in case there's some people who want to go out and read it before the episode goes out.
I guess.
Seems more logical to do that than to keep it a secret.
Well, too late now, even if we wanted to.
Hopefully going out February 11th, but look for it in the month of February if it's not out on February 11th.
Yes.
I'm very excited for that. But
yes, you still have to glue the spine back to the pages.
We'll go into more detail about that in the actual episode. That's a story for another time. Right, so I guess that's the past 2 years. We've covered...
We stopped sucking, that's the past 2 years.
Also, we covered 2 doctors, because Tom is just such a long-running doctor. He's taking up most of that time.
Yep. About this time last year, we were finishing up the second Doctor and starting the third Doctor.
Yeah, I think actually our second Doctor retrospective two-parter, because we split it, was the week immediately after I think finished the week after the 2-year special, the 1-year special went out last year.
Right.
And then we did the third Doctor, and now we're trudging through the fourth.
Before we get on, well, we also did some audios this year, which was a first for us.
Right.
Which you should also check out.
I mean, actually, if we're going that far, we started that other podcast we've been hinting at since episode 5.
Which you should also check out.
That's called Triple Play. Find it on this website, decadentvegetable.com. That's a lot of fun, actually. We watch movie trilogies. Kind of a respite from watching Doctor Who every week. We get to talk about something that's not Doctor Who that we find interesting.
Or maybe something we don't find interesting. We are watching some pretty terrible trilogies, or at least we have some lined up.
Yeah, we have some, in the near future. But definitely check that out.
Before anyone realizes that this is just one giant ad for us, we should probably get into the next part.
Right, we're trying to, like we said, avoid being self-indulgent. So,
are we?
Predictions for the Doctor Who, the future of the show, up until 1 year from now. We're not going to go
quote-unquote future, because it's where we are right now, which is like almost done with the fourth Doctor. So if you're listening to this, you probably already know what happens, but we don't.
Yeah, it's like 30 years ago. 20, 30 years ago.
We've managed to stay spoiler-free. That's, I guess, another accomplishment. In our second year, we stayed spoiler-free for the most part.
We had one or two. I think we both spoiled when Sarah was going out a week before. No, actually, Sarah was the one we didn't spoil, right? Or was that
Sarah was the one where it was obvious that she was going out.
I think, yeah. I think
Leela was the one we spoiled.
Yeah. We successfully avoided some spoilers. More successfully than our first year. Which is kind of what we're trying to do, is not spoil it for ourselves. That's kind of the whole point of the show.
And the point of these predictions.
So, just roughly speaking, timeline-wise, we should be, by this time next year, wrapping up the 6th Doctor at least. We may even be into the 7th Doctor. We will definitely be into the 6th Doctor by this time next year. Whether or not we'll have wrapped it up and be in the 7th or not, I haven't calculated exactly. But so we're going to be predicting through the 6th Doctor type stuff now. Just
don't get your hopes too high. We don't have that many predictions here. You get what you get, okay?
Well, I think the first and most obvious one that, me personally at least, I think Tom is going to continue to care less. I think he's going to get worn out of the role, and I think that's actually why he's going to, at some point, eventually quit/regenerate. I don't think necessarily he's going to get booted off the show like Hartnell was. I think he'll just retire from the role like Troughton and Pertwee did.
Yeah. I mean, unless there's pressing issues that need to be addressed, like there were with Hartnell, then I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't foresee something of that magnitude at least coming up unless... Because Jonathan Nathan Turner takes over in Tom's final year, unless there's massive creative differences that just lead to a split. But I don't think so.
But we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. That's basically actually all I have for Tom, really.
Yeah,
it's like we've been through so many seasons of 4 that we basically know everything possible that could possibly happen before. I mean,
it's like we are 4. No.
We've seen Gallifrey for the first time. We saw the Masters show back up once again. The Doctor became president. The Doctor got a Time Lord companion. The Doctor got a non-humanoid companion. It's like, what more could they possibly do to Tom Baker, right?
Well, speaking of the Master...
we actually have conflicting opinions on this. I believe the Master will return before the 4th Doctor regenerates.
And I don't.
I don't know what I'm basing my prediction on.
I'm not basing mine on anything.
I'm just basing mine on the fact that I want the Master to come back before the end of the 4th Doctor's run, specifically because they've wasted so many opportunities to get out of that crispy Master stage already, not the least of which was the talents of Wang Chiang.
Maybe we should bet something.
Like what?
I don't know. Something Doctor Who related. Like one of us has to talk like K9 for a whole episode if they
That
lose.
would just be awful for the listeners. Think of the listeners. Think of the fans.
No, I never think of the fans. No.
That's not true.
Or is it?
That's only vaguely true. Well, we have, 2 seasons. Wow, we're almost there. I didn't realize we were so close.
Yeah.
2 seasons. And a theme song change before the end, actually. Finally, for the first time in 12 years. I think.
I predict
12?
that there's going to be a theme song change.
That's not a prediction, because I just told you that it happens. Wait, hang on. I have all the intros and outros for Trust Your Doctor planned out. Yeah, for the first time in 13 years, I think. Season 18.
Wasn't there a small change? Like they added a chime or something like that?
We didn't really count that. No one counts that. Yeah, so season 18 will be the debut of an entirely new theme for the first time since season 4. Can you believe it? We're almost there. And so, yes, the theme for Trust Your Doctor will change respectively to match the show. I guess that's just kind of our thing.
We never got the opportunity to use that Ron Grainer arranged theme.
You mean the one that I think Radio Free Scaro uses as their theme? A much more successful and well-known podcast than us.
Anyway, we also have some 5th/6th Doctor related predictions. Not too in-depth, really, but just surface level things, because we don't really know too much about the 5th and 6th.
I mean, the 5th wears celery. That was the title of one of our episodes.
That's the title of our website. Decorative Veteran. If you didn't know, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, it comes from a little short in the reboot if you didn't know. And when we get there, we'll mention it again.
So my prediction for the 5th and 6th Doctors is that they're both going to have under 2 companions or less. They both have pretty short seasons. I don't foresee them having any more than that. Pretty safe prediction, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many companions the 6th Doctor has, but I know how many screen companions the 5th Doctor has, and that's kind of just partially a result of me having seen one serial from both the 5th and 6th Doctor's eras. For the 5th Doctor, it was The Visitation, and for the 6th Doctor, it was his very first serial, The Twin Dilemma. So I have seen both of those, but conveniently, both of those give away almost absolutely nothing about their respective eras, so...
Are you sure?
The Twin
Maybe
Dilemma...
they give away everything.
The Twin Dilemma especially so, because it was the first time the Doctor regenerated before the end of a season since Hartnell, and the Twin Dilemma is like the final serial of its preceding season.
Yeah.
So it basically does give away nothing about the 6th Doctor's era. But I'm predicting them both to be less funny than the 4th Doctor. Obviously, I vaguely know the truth in that statement, or the falseness of that statement, but I think it's also just a safe prediction.
Well, you also predicted that with Douglas Adams taking over as script editor...
Yeah, next season 17.
...that the show will get a little more lighthearted.
That's just based on what I've seen of Douglas Adams' writing, personally. I mean, the script editor does have a massive influence on how the show plays out, and the characters on the show. I mean, we saw it with Hinchcliffe and Holmes. We saw it again when Gareth Williams and Anthony Reid took over. The show almost got whiplash from how quickly that tone changed.
Well, like all of these predictions, we will see in the coming year.
Obviously, we will see.
And I guess next year we'll revisit these and see if we were right. I don't know.
We'll be right on some of them. Like we said, they're safe predictions. So some of these, maybe we should just make an outlandish prediction right now. I think they'll finally kill off a companion.
I was just about to say that.
I guess we'll find out if that's true in a year or not. Someone at home is sitting there laughing at our predictions like, haha, they'll find out soon enough. Predictions for Trust Your Doctor itself. Though they're not really predictions. They're just kind of...
We'll start sucking. No.
No, I feel like we have a good rhythm going now. We have a good
what
layout to our episodes. I completely blanked on the word, and that's not even the word I was looking for. I think we have a good
structure
to the episodes. Thanks. That's actually the exact word I was looking for. I don't know, and I think we both still enjoy it to some extent. That's why we still do it.
Yeah, it would just be weird not doing it anymore.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's kind of at the point where it's just part of our daily ritual, sitting down and watching Doctor Who, and our weekly ritual to sit down in this glorious recording area and record the podcast every week.
Or our weekly ritual the night before. Oh no, I didn't watch the serial. Watch it, quick. Yeah, but no, it would just be odd not doing this anymore, so...
We've kind of trapped ourselves in it now.
We're stuck, send help, no.
I don't know, we've tried to mix it up over the past year. I guess going back to what we did over the past year with the audio dramas and the crossovers, which I think we'll both do more of both of those this coming year.
Yeah, I think since we did 3, 2, 1, Third Doctor, Second Doctor, First Doctor, in that order with our audios, so maybe as we go along we can do 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. We obviously haven't planned it out.
We have a very vague idea of possibly doing a 4th Doctor one, maybe. It's like... maybe on the table, maybe even doing it as a crossover with someone. Who
it's like
even
on the
knows?
Corner of the table, you know.
It's like bouncing on the edge
of destruction.
But I mean, we've got that crossover with Flight Through Entirety. We'll definitely be talking with other podcasts, probably Crinoid again.
Probably.
Don't want to put anything set in stone just yet.
Set in stone
because you know there's always things. Jeez, are you just trying to see how many titles of serials you can get into this episode? If you say yes, are you afraid you're gonna undermine?
I'm trying to think of a serial title that I could say to respond to that. Sea Devils. That's my response. Sea Devils.
Anyway, don't want to put anything definitively out there yet because obviously scheduling is a thing that needs to happen because they're all on different continents than us, so you never know when things might come up and not happen. But anyway, yes, look forward for more crossovers and more external expanded universe stuff. The podcast kind of grew from just watch Doctor Who every week to let's
see how much Doctor Who we can take without dying.
You know what? I'm going to change the podcast description just to put that line in there. Change it to this is that podcast where Dylan and Keon see how much Doctor Who they can take before they go insane. And I think that's as good as a note as any to end this episode.
Yep. This went on far longer than I thought it would, so...
Well, just want to give a big thank you to everyone who still listens to this train wreck of an episode, as well as this mildly okay show.
I was going to make another train reference, but
I thought you were going to make another serial title reference. Inferno. Yeah, so check us out, YouTube, iTunes, email us at thedoctor@decorative.com. I did that in the reverse order that time. That was weird. Leave a rating if you liked the show. Be sure to tell your friends, family. I think the one thing we also want to do this coming year is aggressively advertise the show more. I think now that we've fallen into a groove and a rhythm, we can expand our listener base, hopefully.
And apparently there's a rumor that you just alerted me to that Twitter is getting rid of their word count, and I hate Twitter, but maybe if they do that, I'll stop hating it so much.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Keon is the community manager. He runs all of our social media accounts.
But I hate social media. Great person to do this.
This is why it's funny. But yeah, check those out.
Yep. Check out our social media pages, Facebook, Trust Your Doctor. Also check us out on Twitter, TYD Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. And next time, I guess, on our 3-year special, we'll see if we got these predictions right.
We'll see how many crossovers we crammed into 1 year.
But until then, the end.